Hi there, welcome to my craft table. I'm Dorian Skioka of GenkiStamper.com and I'm glad to have you here with me today. I always like to work from a template because it helps me know what I'm going to do. So here is a template for my card. So I have the card base and then I'm going to do a strip for the background. The background strip is going to be 2 inches long. Another strip of designer series paper on top of that, that's 1.5 inches long. And then I'm going to put some sort of doohickey there and a sentiment right there. See, blah. So, and doohickey is definitely a technical term. So I have a couple of things I already punched out. We have our background. We're going to scallop punch something from this. So let me go ahead and do that using my old school scallop punch from Stampin Up. That works beautifully, so I'm not going to replace it till it breaks. I like being able to use the same tool over and over and over again. So that's what we're doing today. And I've got some more scraps. I hate throwing away my scraps, especially my designer series paper. It's so pretty and I don't want to throw it away. So I had a scrap lying around. It happened to be about 1.5 inches long. I just cut off the end and then, hey, look, it fits. I'm going to be using a Stampin' Up tool that is new to Stampin' Up. It's a distresser tool. It is in the spring catalog right now and I love it. I have some other distressors and they don't work nearly as well. I love how big this is because I can really get a good grip on it. Let me show you how to distress this paper. So you're going to distress the edges of the paper, make it look kind of old and raggedy like it is right there. So you just kind of lightly pull it along. If you go too hard on the paper, it will rip. So you got to be gentle, especially on paper, like designer series paper is actual paper. It's not cardstock. With the cardstock, you can be a little bit rougher. So I'm going to quickly distress this. Alright. So I'm done distressing it, and as you can see, I ripped it a little bit. And that's okay, it just makes it look aged and cool. I'm going to do the same thing with my background strip of early Espresso. So I'm done with that. As you can see, it leaves quite a mess. So I suggest that if you're doing this, to do it over a trash can. And that will help cut down on some of the mess. Or you can just not care and do that. That works too. Alright, so now I have a couple of scallops and I have a background punch from a 2-inch circle. So I'm going to take both of these, and before I do any cutting on them, I'm going to add a little bit of color. So I'm going to use my Real Red stamping pad and I'm going to use a sponge. And I'm going to add a little bit of color to the outside. I wanted a color for the background to go behind the flower, but I didn't have the color that I wanted. I wanted Old Olive, but I don't have any Old Olive. I happen to have an Old Olive stamping pad though. So I'm going to do the same kind of technique. I'm going to find a different place on my sponge here, and I'm going to just sponge on Old Olive. And you can do this on Whisper White or on this color, very vanilla. You can just change the color. And it's not going to be the true color, but I think it looks really neat like this actually. I think it looks very pretty. So I'm done with that. I think I'm done sponging everything. And put that aside. So I've got this. It's time to put my flower together. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a scallop and I'm going to cut a little heart shape. And how I do that is I just cut a little snippet. Let me bring it up close so you can see. I'm going to cut a little snippet about a third to a half of the way down towards the center. Okay, so just made a little cut there. And then I'm going to skip 2 scallops over. I'm going to cut another little snip right there. So then I've got a little kind of heart shape right there. See that? Okay. So I'm going to continue to do that. Skip 2 scallops, cut, skip 2 scallops, cut, skip 2 scallops, cut, and so on and so forth. all the way around. Okay, and now it's all cut out and I have these little petals. I'm going to do the same thing on this card. Alright, so I'm done cutting them out. Now I want them to kind of poof up like flowers. So I'm going to use my little stylus for the scoreboard, and I'm going to use the backing for the paper piercer mat, and I'm going to take my scallops and I'm going to turn them upside down. And I'm going to take the large end of my stylus here and draw little circles on top of the petals. And when I do that, the petals stand up. Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you so you can see. All right. Now I'm going to turn them over, and you can see that they look petally, more petally than they did before, but I still want them to stand up a little bit more. So I'm going to take the end of a marker and I'm going to just press and kind of wiggle it just a little bit like that. Okay, nifty, huh? Isn't that cool? That's the coolest. I love it. I love it. Okay, not too hard because I don't want to break the paper, but just wiggle it just a little bit like that. All right, I like that side best, so I'm going to, oops, I always do that. Tape this down. Okay, tape down this little piece right there on top. Okay, and now I'm ready to put my flower together. So I'm going to start by putting this down first. So I got glue dots on there, and we'll put that on there. Okay, and then on the top petal, I want to put something in the middle, make it a little bit more splashy. That green, I really like that. Okay, and then just add that brad to the back, and then, or to the center, I mean, and then on the back I'll put a dimensional. Stampin' dimensional. Help it pop. You know, I might put 2, just in case. Just don't want it to pop off. So I'm going to put 2 of those. Right there. Throw the trash on the floor because that's where it goes. And then put it on. I'm going to try to not put it exactly on top. Just turn it, twist it a little bit. And then for our final touch here on the flower, I'm going to pull up those petals a little bit. Poof them. Poof, poof, poof. We like things poofy in my world. Okay. And now we need to put our sentiment on here. So I'm going to use a stamp from a new stamp set I got called Vintage Verses, and I'm going to use this this stamp right here called Just Because. Why did I give you this card? I don't know, just because. So get it nice and inky. I like it to go down here in the corner, so it's I've got this little juxtaposition from here to here, and it draws your eye down and creates some movement. I'm all about that, and I'm actually sitting this way, so I'm gonna stamp it like that, and there you go. Well, I've used this template now on 4 different cards, and let me show them to you. So we've got this one that we just made, and I have another one where I made a different kind of flower using the Scallop Punch. I'm going to show that in another tutorial. And then I also use that same template to make some twirly whirly cards for birthdays and just one to say hi. Use what you got, use up your scraps, use a template, get it figured out, and go to GenkiStamper.com.